Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd day of April 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are doing their best to save lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that drive demands that keep these perverted industries in business. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and military veterans homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. The New York Knicks, there was a game, a basketball game, a playoff game in Madison Square Garden last night. The New York Knicks lost to the Detroit Pistons 194. There's a lot I have to say about this game, but I won't take long. Number one, you cannot have a playoff game where in the first half you have 14 free throws for one team and only 2 for the other, when both teams are competing equally hard. The game was really down to one basket in the fourth quarter, but the free throw discrepancy was glaring. It was glaring. To me, that's a sign of a very terribly refereed game. I agree with Tom Thibodeau in that if you're going to call it loose, call it loose. If you're going to call it tight, call it tight. If you're going to let it be physical, let it be physical, but let it be equal on both sides. The game ended with the Knicks having taken 19 free throws and Detroit took 34. And some of those calls were really glaringly bad. They would allow marginal contact on the Knicks, but call a foul for marginal contact against the Knicks. And again, 19, that's a 15 free throw difference in a game that ended up being 6 points. So that was bothering me the most. I don't mind the Knicks getting outplayed. Okay, it bothers me that they would lose a game getting outplayed. But I don't like when the referees control the outcome of a game. And I seriously think, I know that there's a review of every game. There's a review of every game. That's like NBA policy. So they will review the referee of the game, and I expect to see some changes made for Thursday. That was huge. Okay. That aside, the main part of this game where the Knicks lost this game is two places. Number one, they were out-rebounded by 14 rebounds. You cannot win a playoff game getting out-rebounded by 14. Now, what could have caused them to win if the free throws had not been so, the discrepancy had not been so large, is the Knicks were 10 for 35 from three. So they were pulling threes. That was good. And they hit 10 of them, whereas Detroit was 6 for 27. So the Knicks defense on the perimeter was better, but they threw enough threes up there to get more so that they had, 12 points ahead on the 3 points. But you can't overcome a rebound discrepancy. It's very difficult to do and win a game. So they have to do better on the boards. And this is what happened, the second thing. Somebody was in my channel the other day. Two people. I get some very interesting comments. Some I really enjoy. Some make me think. And then there's some that disgust me. But there was some really good comments in that. Somebody said, one of the adjustments the Knicks have to make is Jalen Brunson cannot try to take over the game and not move the ball. And he did that last night. You cannot have Karl Anthony Towns with 10 points when Detroit has no center that could guard him. You cannot have him in the fourth quarter with a nut. Okay, that's a problem. So I put that on JB. So, and I was looking at comments, and everybody was, see, and another comment I got was, I like the Knicks trajectory, blah, 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 blah. There's knuckleheads out there, and they're all quiet now. This was after game one. They're all quiet now. And I said, they'll be back like freshly dumped manure as soon as the Knicks lose. And here they are. I had to curse out one of my best friends last night, talking about fire tips. You're in the second game of the NBA playoffs. The last thing you want to talk about is firing the coach. If you're a fan, the last thing you want to talk about. Talk about that in July. But don't talk about that in the midst of the battle. That means you're weak. Okay? You're weak and sometime. When you're talking about firing the coach in the middle of the heat of the battle. That means you're one of these that give up in the heat of the battle. I don't even want you around. I disrespect people like that. Because they don't take no stand for nothing. Okay? Except their opinion. No. So, here it is, right? Don't come on my channel with it today. This ain't the right time. So, Tibbs did a good job, as he always does. He can't help. If he gives the keys to Jalen Brunson, and that's what you want. Jalen Brunson's an extension of Tibbs. So, the beauty of that is you got a coach on the floor. Brunson should have been getting the ball to Karl Anthony Towns more. That was a problem. Fourth quarter, you cannot do that in the fourth quarter. Okay, we're down. We're trying to come back. You can't be taking. Let me look at this now. You can't be taking all the shots. And the guy that you have an obvious. See, this is the thing. I saw Thompson. I knew he was gonna foul out. I knew that Brunson was gonna make him foul out, and Brunson did. And I also knew that once that happened, Knicks were gonna go on a run, and they did. What stopped several? They didn't get 1 3-stop possession. One series of 3 stops the whole night. And part of the reason for that was the refs kept bailing out Detroit. The Knicks would get a stop, they'd get 2 stops, and then they'd call a foul on the Knicks. And stop the 3-stop. And they kept getting that 2 and then not. And the refs consistently bailed out Detroit last night. But you cannot have Karl Anthony Towns get 11 shots and Brunson gets 27. That's just as bad as the free throws discrepancy. You cannot have that when you have a 5 that nobody on the other team can guard. Tobias Harris could not guard him and still can't guard him. I hope they put him on him again thinking they get something. They got something going on Thursday because Karl Anthony Towns could kill him. But that was part of the problem. And then Karl Anthony Towns took no foul shots. 0. That's what I'm saying. This was bad. And that was a referee's thing. You cannot do that, man. There's no way. So Brunson's got to do a better job distributing the basketball. Everybody's got to touch it. Okay? He's got to make sure that happens. Especially establishing it early. If in the end of a game and you want to bury your team, Brunson starts doing this thing, that's cool. That's what you want. But when you're trying to get something going offensively, you don't disrupt it by just ball hogging. That's what he was doing, ball hogging. So those are 2 things that can be corrected. They're not going to get out-rebounded like that Thursday night. I can guarantee you that. That's not going to happen. Karl Anthony Towns is not going to go the whole fourth quarter without touching the ball hardly. That's not going to happen either. Okay? Brunson has got to be cognizant that you got to get this cat the ball. All right, so maybe you don't get so Bridges got 18 shots. Anunoby got 10. Okay? Josh got 6. All right, I don't like those numbers, but okay. But you cannot have Karl Anthony Towns only get 11 shots and you got 27. Come on, baby. Come on. He got to do better than that. And this is the thing. I'm only saying this because I'm 100% sure Brunson knows that. That's what I love about him and about this team. Brunson understands what he did. This is what happened. He got golded. He got baited. Detroit, Thompson was talking about I had no trouble guarding him, and Brunson took that personally and went at Thompson. And yes, Thompson ended up fouling out, but you cost your team. Even though they still, with all of that, and let me tell you, overall, and I said this Saturday night, and I'm going to say it after last night, the Knicks have not played anywhere near their best basketball yet. Okay, they just have not. Last night was obvious, but they have to get a better flow offensively. This is a team that averages 27 assists per game, and last night they had 15. That's on the point guard. And I know he has 7, but that's because he had the ball in his hand all the time. He has got to let that ball move a little bit. And against a team that overplays the way Detroit does, he'd be better off the ball. He'd be better letting McCall and Josh and Deuce and whoever out there with him distribute more, and him being more off the ball. See how Detroit is running Cade Cunningham. As we knew that was going to happen through a million picks. The Knicks could do that too with Brunson. Okay, so two things that help me out here. I know they're going to look at the film, and I know they're going to see what we all saw last night. As far as the referees, I expect the NBA to talk to somebody and fix that. There's just no way that could happen in a playoff game. In a playoff game, it's bad during the season, but not. You can't have almost double. You can't have a 14-2 field goal foul line percentage in the first half. That's terrible refereeing. Absolutely terrible. So that was the game, and I knew this was going to be a difficult series, and Detroit had to win. Last night was a must-win for them because, like I said, if the Knicks won that game last night, and that's why it was hard fought to the last second, this series was over in 5. So I'm going to go with 6 on the Knicks still, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be, there's nothing, somebody intimated, this is going to be easy. There's no such thing as easy in the NBA playoffs. Okay, what happened to Memphis the other night was a rare thing. That don't happen usually. So usually it's games like this. The playoffs is the playoffs. This is the toughest league in the world, playing at the most crucial time in the season. So it's gonna be, and you got the best teams left of the toughest teams in the world. So it's gonna be tough the whole time. So yeah. Detroit, hats off to them. They got their little W, but they better not be getting 34 foul shots to 19 again. Don't do that. Don't do that. NBA, y'all got to get up on that. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Especially when Brunson is going downhill just as much as Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade Cunningham had 12 free throws. Brunson did get 11 free throws. I think part of it was, first of all, McCall got none. Towns got none. The Towns with no free throws was really glaring. That was bad. Because Towns plays physical and he goes to the half. That's really where the game was changed right there. So, hats off to Detroit. They do play tough defense. That defense is crunching. Somebody talked about the weak link is Tobias Harris. Please, I said, don't quit your day job and become an NBA analyst. Don't do that. There ain't no weak link on their defense. None. Okay, that's why they was 11th in defensive efficiency in the league this year. And for a reason. They all play defense. And as we've seen, they can play some defense now. So, we just need to come back, look at the film, distribute the ball better, rebound the ball better. So this is the thing. I thought that Detroit would try to control the tempo and slow it down. And they did. It was 100-94. They did. The first half ended. Nobody got 60 for sure, and nobody got 30 in the first quarter. That's Detroit trying to slow it down and make more opportunities for Cade Cunningham, which I thought they were going to do. I thought Cade would be more of a playmaker. He wasn't. He was getting into the paint a lot, and it makes sense. If they're gonna call a foul for you every time you go to the basket, somebody blowing you, they calling the foul. Go to the basket. That's what you're gonna do, right? So yeah. Next game, we got to go to Detroit. We got to rebound the ball better. And the ball's got to move. We got to get some more assists. We can't have 15 assists. Can't do that. And then, of course, there's the turnovers. Now, for the Knicks, they had last night, they had 14 turnovers. You could do better than that. See, Detroit still had 15. We turned them over 21 times Saturday night. And we turned them over 15 times. We could do that to them. But we don't want them doing that to us. Okay, and a lot of those turnovers were just silly, just stupid. There was just no need to throw some of the dumbass passes they tried to throw. So we got to calm that mess down. We got to get back to Knicks basketball. And I guess that's what I'm saying overall. They did not play Knicks basketball last night. The rebounding was off. The assist was off. The ball's got to move better. They turn the ball over too much. Really, you got to do better. You got to do better in those areas that make Knicks basketball. So they'll be back. They'll be back. And Tibbs was right. That free throw percentage. How could you be 14-2 in free throw? I still can't get over that. That's amazing. And they did it on national TV in front of everybody. It was ridiculous, man. So, Detroit shot 22% from three. The Knicks shot 29%. Neither team shot the ball off the charts, but this is the playoffs. That's how it is. Field goal percentage, they shot 45, we shot 42. It was pretty even. Everything was pretty even. They got a slight edge on points in the paint and that 40 to 46, and that had to do with everybody being afraid to get called for a foul. Okay, that period. Okay, one time they just took Anunoby, threw him to the ground. No call. Ref standing right there, but. That you could tell that pissed me off a lot. So I don't want to hear nothing about fire Tibbs. I don't want to hear nothing from no naysayers. This ain't the time. This ain't the place. We in the battle here. This is the fire. We're trying to get through this thing. So if you're gonna pick this time to start whining, I ain't got no cheese for your wine. Go to some other channel and go talk about your fire Tibbs. Go to X. You can rejoice with all your other miserable friends. But here, no. We got to come back Thursday. Play Knicks basketball. I don't care if it's in Detroit. I don't think the Knicks care if it's in Detroit. Yes, there's no energy like MSG, but the Knicks know that. And Detroit is now trying to block Knicks fans from... I didn't think they would be able to get away with that legally. That's discrimination. But anyway, you can't discriminate and tell people they can't buy tickets out of a certain area code. But anyway, that's cool. But that don't matter. We got to go on the court and play Knicks basketball. And I'm 100% sure. That's what they're going to do. Now, I'm not guaranteeing a win Thursday night, though the Knicks do need to win Thursday night. But I know they're going to come out and play Knicks basketball. They're going to focus on the things that makes them the Knicks. Low turnovers, more ball movement, and higher rebounds. Mitch Rob did his job as far as rebound. Mitch Rob did his job. He came in the game and did what he normally does, but there was a hindering him. But he played 20 minutes. He had 7 boards, 4 on the offensive end. Okay, and that's where we needed. We were slaughtered on the offensive glass. Karl Anthony Towns has to do better at rebounding. Here's a guy that averaged 13, 14 boards a game. You can't come into how many he had? 6. I think he had 6 rebounds. That can't cut it either. Okay, that's not going to cut it. You got to do better. So offensive rebounds was 12-7 in their favor. So rebounding better, specifically Karl Anthony Towns. Ball movement better, specifically Jalen Brunson. And he's got to get the ball in Towns' hands more. Towns has to have more. You can't have 27 shots and your boy only gets 11 when he is the player that has the biggest mismatch. I'm not saying he's better than Jalen or whatever, but what I'm saying is there's no Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Beef Stew. There's nobody that can guard him on Detroit. So you got to put the ball in his hands, okay? That's those 2 things, those 3 things. Towns got to rebound better. They got to rebound better overall. They got to distribute the ball better, which means Towns needs to get more touches overall. They got to cut down on stupid passes and take advantage and don't turn the ball over. They got to have the Knicks basketball is about 10. The Knicks. Let me just see the official stat, but I'm thinking Knicks basketball is about 10 turnovers a game. That, when they're doing it right, it's about 8, but 14 ain't gonna cut it. 15 ain't gonna cut it. Turnovers, they average 11.5, so they average about 12, which still is not that good. But they got to do better. They got to control that basketball. This is Jalen Brunson, and he, like I said, he's the head of the snake. He got to take the heat when they messing up, and he got to take the heat for this one. Took too many shots, too much hero ball. Okay, got to move the ball. Got to get the ball in the hands of your most prolific guy. Okay, and you got to cut down on turnovers. Got to do that overall. So These things can be addressed. We can't control what the referees do. But even with that horrible refereeing, if the Knicks would have out-rebounded Detroit, this might have been a different game. So we can blame the refs to a certain degree. We should. But also the Knicks can control getting more rebounds. They can control moving the ball. They can control putting the ball in Karl-Anthony Towns' hands more. Those things they can control, okay? And they need to. One thing that's also positive I've noticed is that, and maybe y'all seen it too, Cat usually gets a lot of offensive fouls because he's so aggressive going to the basket that when he uses his off arm, he usually gets offensive foul. They're not calling that right now. So we got to take advantage of that, because if they allow him to be physical offensively, I think we'll be in good shape. So that's got to be a focus going into the next game. It's not his three-point shooting, although of course that's the dagger. It's him, and he was doing the right thing, setting up on the post, setting up on the post, and getting the ball on the post like that. That's where he is a problem. You got to allow that to happen. Okay, you got a healthy Karl-Anthony Towns. He's ready to do his thing. You got to give him the basketball. Okay, I said enough. Anyway, enjoy your Tuesday. I know this is bitter, but that's all right. It's only game 2. We still got plenty more basketball to play. Enjoy your Tuesday. Look up. It's going to be all right. Shalom.